Welcome, guys. Let's wait for a few people to tune in. Just getting the comments up on my screen and we're good to go. Comment away, by the way. Obviously, you've all seen the team. Let's get this going. Keep the comments coming. I've actually got them here, so I don't have to keep scrolling, which is good. And we'll talk about it. And by the way, I hope you're all having a great week. You know, it's the most important thing. My last week has been pretty slow since last Thursday night. I don't know how you guys have handled it, but for me personally, it's been a slog. It's kind of dragged on a little bit. It feels like it's been 6 months between games. But yeah, really glad that we've got a chance tomorrow night to. You know, it's like you're so scared of something for so long until you kind of come to terms with it, then you're okay. And tomorrow, that's the sort of big fear for me is I'm trying to think like, surely the season's not over. You know, surely we've got another week in us. We've got another couple of weeks, in us. We're good enough and we deserve to be in the top 8 and we deserve to make finals. So I can't imagine this time tomorrow or, a bit later just talking about, oh, well, that's our season done. Thanks, everyone. I'm not prepared for that at all. I'm prepared to talk about finals. I really want to talk about finals, but we have to deal with tomorrow night first before we can get onto that. And yeah, it's all in our hands. We just have to get the job done, don't we? And you're looking at the ins. Let's go into it. I know you've already seen it, but the big ins for us, Dan Hannebery. That's a massive one. Dan Hannebery is, just full of class. He's got that finals experience. He's clean with the footy, and we know he's been injury prone. We know that he's had his struggles coming back from injury. But in a game like this, when you're missing a Zach Jones and you're lacking that experience in the middle, you need Dan Hannebery. And even if he doesn't get the ball enough, the fact that he can calm players down and he can be that senior head when things aren't going our way to just tell everyone to take a chill pill and to kind of control things and everything is, that's what we brought him in for. So I'm pumped for him to be playing. I'm pumped for Carlisle to be back. Jake Carlisle's back. And that's massive for us because last week we saw what we were lacking in the back line and, the tools that, who did we play last week? West Coast. The tools that we played against West Coast killed us in the air and we missed Carlisle's height. We missed the fact that he could allow Caulfield to run off him and to do his thing. But, the fact that he's back this week is huge. He allows Caulfield to do that. He allows Caulfield to run off and intercept and play his game, and our backline's more settled with him there. In terms of the outs, Nick Hind is out. Zach Jones is obviously injured, and that's disappointing. Hamstring there, so I don't know how we go with him. If we make finals, a week off would be good. But yeah, I think we should be okay without him. The fact that Hannebery's back is massive. If we weren't bringing in Hannebery, I would have been pissed because Dunstan would have been the other option. But what I've heard about Dunstan is that the medicos think that he's not quite ready yet, and that's the reason why he's not playing. So for anyone commenting saying, shit, why isn't Dunstan playing? It's because his body's not ready yet. Whether it's ready in a couple of weeks if we make finals is another question. But for now, it is what it is. We just have to deal with it. But the ends are solid. This is a strong team. Hind's out, Jones is out. So we lose pace, but we gain experience and class. And that's something that I think in a game like this is more important than just a bit of swagger and a bit of showboaty sort of skills. So for me, these are as good ends as we could have had in a game like this. So it's really important for us. In terms of GWS, they've brought in their captain. Stephen Cornelio's back in. Jake Riccardi's back in, the forward. They've dropped Kennedy and Harry Himmelberg is out. So a tall, but they've brought in Riccardi, who's just as good in his last couple of games. So it doesn't make a difference for us. The big one for me also is Rowan Marshall plays his 50th game. So congratulations to Rowan Marshall, the prospect who's been in amazing form the last couple of seasons and future number 1 ruck and had a great season again. Started slow, but been great. And someone's just commented there. I'll get to the comments quickly. Someone's just mentioned that Jared Ruffhead, that's a big one that's back. Ruffy's back. He's going to be on the bench. Hopefully Rats is up and about in the box and playing. And just going back to what we did earlier in the season, we saw how well everything worked with Rats having that overview of the field from the box, and then Ruffy kind of controlling things from ground level and being that player coach connector. We haven't had that for a long time, and I feel like that's kind of shown kind of a few weaknesses with us. And Ruffy's a special person to have at the footy club, so it's massive for us and perfect timing for us to have him back. So that's huge for us. The interesting one here is Dean Kent had a bit of a shitty game last week, and he maintains his spot. So clearly, Rats, although he's making a few changes, he's backing players to come back stronger after a poor performance last week, and no one played poorer than Dean Kent, and he knows that. So I'm not taking a stab at him. He knows that, and the 2 possessions or 3 possession game, no tackles, no goals. He's due a big game, and this is the one that everyone's due a big game. We have no room for passengers in this game. We have no room for half-assed efforts. This is a final. This is an elimination final. If you want your season to continue, you fucking get in and you tackle hard and you chase hard. Because I think the big thing in this game for us is getting into GWS's head, into their heads, into the players' minds, and pissing them off. Because all week it's been negative talk, GWS. Cor's gone, he's pissed off, he's leaving as a free agent, he's left the team, I think he's gone back to Sydney or whatever. A bunch of players just don't look interested, Toby Green, Cameron, these sort of players. Himmelberg's been dropped, so there's, they even dropped their captain last week. This is a team that isn't mentally there. The interesting thing is they've got the skills on us. They do. They've got the best skills and the most talented list in the league. But above the shoulder, they're not strong. And this is where we can get them, because I think all season we've been pretty mentally strong. We're a strong, tight-knit group. We love our coach. We love each other. You can tell that with the way they play for each other. They want to go out there and they want to do better every week for their teammates, And I don't see that with West Coast. So I think in this sort of game, yes, West Coast might show some class. They might do some fancy things here and there. But I think if we play hard, tough football, we will be the better team and we will win. And that's the key. We need to just be a united unit tomorrow. And I know it's stupid saying united unit. We just need to be a tough unit tomorrow. We can't let them get on the front foot and take the game on and kick it to Cameron on the lead and he kicks 5. He's towed us up every time. But Dougal Howard is not going to let that happen. Jake Carlisle can take care of Riccardi. I say Dougal Howard for Cameron because he's more mobile, and Riccardi's more that stand and deliver tall forward. Not as mobile as Cameron, so I think Carlisle's perfect for that. And then Caulfield can take someone else, whether that's another tall, maybe he can float around and play on Finlayson. You've got Toby Green and Brett Daniels in great form, so whether Ben Long takes one of those is positive for us as well. I back him. Ben Patton can take the other small, so we've got those covered. It's interesting to see that Jaron Geary is down the other end of the field. He's not in the back line. He's listed as a defensive forward. And I've heard all week that we might be trialling him against someone like a Lockie Whitfield, which worries me a little bit because Whitfield's got him for height, he's got him for pace, he's got him for strength, he's got him for skill, he's got him for every facet of the game. And, we've tried that with Geary on other talls. We tried that with, the Geelong defender. We've tried that with a few other tall defenders and it hasn't worked. He's good on the Dohertys and the Sards of the world where they're, 180 centimetres and he can match up on them pretty evenly. If we're playing him on a tall, it's a bit risky. Whitfield's deceptively tall, so this is a sort of matchup that if it's not going well in the first 10 minutes, you have to change it straight away. You can't keep it going because Lockie Whitfield's their best player this season. He is their generator off halfback. He's their best ball user, and he's just a dominant player. He's more important to them than someone like Cornelio or Kelly. Those, and we haven't even talked about those sort of players. Hopper, Kelly. They've got Mumford in the ruck, and that's where I think we can get them as well, is Paddy and Rowe can towel up Mumford. Mumford's last season pretty much, so he's just going to go nuts, try and smash people, take their heads off, and be really undisciplined. It's up to our rucks to just run him into the ground, go forward, run around, become other midfielders, where they're both mobile. They can play tall, they can play small. That's where we can exploit them. And it's just a matter of us executing it, And Jack Steele doing what he does, leading from the front. Hunter Clark is going to play more midfield time because there's no Zach Jones. He's listed in the middle as well with Seb Ross and Jack Steele, Hanbury and Brad Hill on the wings. So I think this is a good lineup. This is a lineup that fills me with confidence. I think we can win the game with this lineup. Obviously, we don't know what type, which GWS is going to turn up. Sometimes they can be scintillating. Generally, they've just been piss poor and trying to win games off skill and skill alone and no effort. If we have the effort, then we'll get the job done. That will win us the game, and that will get us a finals berth for the first time in 9 years. So I just, we can talk about it all we want, but it's just a matter of getting to tomorrow night and getting the job done. And there's no excuses for the boys, none whatsoever. And I said that last week. I've said that pretty much every game this season. But there's really no excuses. If we don't show any sort of fight in this game, there's bigger problems. If we show fight and GWS just play incredibly well, then you say, well, the better team won. But Jesus, they don't deserve to be in finals, GWS. They played shit all year. The fact that they can still potentially make finals is a joke. We should be there already, and that's an equal joke. The fact that we've dropped some silly losses and that's put us in this position. But even if we do lose, we can still make it. Just to clarify, it's a 48-point turnaround for Melbourne. So if we lose by 10 points, Melbourne have to win by 38 to 40 points against Essendon to take us out of the 8. So there's still a strong chance that we lose and we make it. If we lose, we just have to make sure that we don't lose by a lot, because it all comes down to every point with Melbourne's 48-point turnaround. But ultimately, we just want to get the win, don't we? We just want to fucking win and make finals. And I want to get the champagne out. I've got some balloons on the way. I don't know if they're going to be delivered in time, but, I'm going to get full party mode in here. It's going to go nuts. And we're all going to get on the champagne tomorrow night, hopefully to celebrate a big win. But let's get through some of the comments. I'll scroll all the way to the top. Thanks again, everyone, for commenting. Apologies if I miss any comments. I'm going to try and go through any that I can. Biggest match, I reckon, in the last 9 years. That's from Farron. Yeah, I agree there, mate. This is a huge match. I can't remember the last time we go to the last game of the season and it's finals on the line. The last time I remember a similar situation was 2008, and we went into that game against Essendon knowing that if we won by over 90 points, we made top 4. We win by over 100 and we made top 4. So it was ridiculous that we did that. But that's the similar sort of scenario. Is we needed a certain result, and we got, and that one was more unrealistic than the one tomorrow night where we win. We're expected to win. We're favourites. We're $1.70 odd. So we're favourites. Everyone is expecting us to get the job done. And I'm expecting us to get the job done. We've got to put pressure on the boys. We don't want to be, okay with a loss. This is the game that we need to stand up. This is the game that shows what Rats has done all season to get the boys, mentally prepared and to prove that we are a better team than this time last year. We need to stop Cameron. That's from Shane. Yep, that's a dead obvious one, isn't it? We need to stop Jeremy Cameron. He's a gun. He's had a bit of an iffy year. He's only kicked 24 goals. He's kicked less goals than Dan Butler, to put into context. But he's the sort of player that you give him a sniff and he'll just take the game by the scruff of the neck and dominate. So we need to make sure that Dougal Howard, for one, is manning up on him and stopping him from getting a run and jump and leading, because he's very good at both. But it's a big job on the midfield to negate the Kellys, the Cornelios, the Hoppers, the Whitfields, the Tarantos, these sort of blokes from getting an easy ball and going inside 50 easy. That's the key. We need to make it, a hack football inside 50 where Dougal Howard can come over the top and smother it and punch it out of bounds. We can't have them running in numbers because they love doing that. But they're not a two-way running team. This is like what I said about Melbourne. They love to run forward in waves, but they don't run backwards in waves. So if they do run forwards and we turn it over, we're going to have a lot more space than we did last week. You know, they've got a more talented team than the team we played last week in West Coast, but West Coast are a disciplined team. They are structured and they know what they're doing. GWS play fast, play frenetic, but aren't really as organised or as well coached as a West Coast. So I think that can play into our hands a little bit. Kent lucky to get a game after last week. Archie says, I rated Kent against the Hawks, so hopefully it was just the one bad game last week. Is Geary the right matchup for Toby Green? Big ask. No. I would not put Jaron Geary on Toby Green. Toby Green will manhandle him. He's too strong. He's too good. He's too fast. He's too everything. Toby Green's a gun. I back in a Ben Long or a Ben Patton any day of the week. So Jaron Geary is a defensive forward for one, and then, you know, we'll see how it's going at quarter time. If it's working, then you leave it. If it's not, then we're gonna have to renegotiate that plan and put him, whether we put him into the midfield or we go and risk it and put him back into defense. I don't know, but this is the sort of issue that a player like Geary raises. You don't really know where to play him in these sort of games. You know, you don't want to risk putting him on a Toby Green and Toby Green gets off the leash and kicks goals. But at the same time, you don't want to waste a spot in the forward line and put him there and Whitfield gets touches and he doesn't do anything anyway. So it's a risky one, you know, and that's a position we've been in all season, and, you know, it's probably going to be the case for the rest of the year, and whether Geary goes on next season remains to be seen, but it is what it is. We have to deal with it. I think we can win whether he plays forward or back, so it doesn't really matter to me. But it's just a slight issue with us, you know, a slight matchup where we don't really know where to put him. Love this club. That's from Matthew. Let's go Saints. We need to show up defensively. That's from Garen. Matthew says, as long as the Saints don't lose by 50 points or more, a 49-point loss is okay. I would not take that at all. Stu says, the older heads who've never played a final better play the game of their life this week. Yes, that brings me to my next point. Rats, the video this week, how good was that? How good was it seeing Rats say, hey, Seb, you know, how many finals have you played? He's like, none. Billings, how many finals have you played? None. Skunk, you know, Membry, how many finals have you played? None. You know, that's awesome. He's putting the pressure on them. He's like, boys, you've not played finals. This is your chance to make history, to play your first fucking final in your career. And most of them have played AFL for 4 or 5 years, you know? So they've waited long enough. They should be frustrated. They should play angry tomorrow and say, nah, this is the last time I'm going to go into a preseason without finals. This year we're playing finals, you know? And they just basically put it on their own shoulders and get the job done for the team, you know? And that's the sort of pressure that I love from Rats. And I hope the boys thrive in it instead of panicking and getting nervous about it. I want them to really love that pressure, because it's been a long time since our club has had that sort of pressure, had that sort of expectation to go into a game knowing we need to win, we're expected to win, and we're expected to make finals. It's been 10 years since we've been expected to make finals, and this is the first year in a long time. Let's make it count. Carlisle should have been in last week. That's from Barney. I agree. Should have been in last week. If he plays last week, you know, we probably win that game, and that's really frustrating that it's because of, you know, I don't know, attitude problems that he didn't play. Emmett says we need 4 full capacity quarters. None of this half-assed bits and pieces bullshit. We need to go in hard with the footy and show the comp why we aren't a pushover this season. Up the Saints. Yeah, and that's another thing. The AFL world, if we lose, we'll say typical Saints, and I'll say the same thing. Typical Saints, we choked, we fucked it up, season's over. This is the time where we have to go against the trend, against the grain, and say, nah, this is a difference in Kilda from the one you know. This one is going to actually thrive under pressure and make finals. Geary to be a defensive forward, that's from Flynn. Yep, I reckon he will be, or at least we're going to try it for a little bit and see how it goes. Darcy, great merch. Great merch. Def's going to get some, whatever the result this weekend. That's amazing. Thanks, Darcy. Thanks to anyone who's bought some Saints TV merch from the store that's gone live yesterday. We had a few, you know, over 10, 15 orders already yesterday, and that's amazing. So thanks to everyone supporting Saints TV. It's, you know, a lot of work's gone into it, and we'll talk about it a bit more at the end of the video. But thanks, Darcy, for that, and thanks for your support. John says, pressure, pressure, pressure. We do this, we win. Go Saints. Simple as that. Pressure them, turn the ball over, kick goals, you win the game. Thoughts on Carlisle being traded? Not even going to think about that until the season's officially over. You know, trade season's not until the end of the season. This time, you know, next week, I'm hopeful that we're talking about finals. Not really thinking about trades just yet. And I wouldn't trade him anyway. That's my answer. So Goodwin says, hi Jakey, hope that the boys get out of the blocks and take the game by the horns. Go Saints. Michael says, great to have Dan and Jake back, which will add a stronger balance and hopefully some much needed on-field leadership to steady the pups. I'm feeling a lot more confident about these inclusions. A couple of others could have been brought in, but this is good. Gears on Whitfield is a good move, I reckon. This is from Garen. They just need to use him going forward, so Whitfield is... Hold it back. Let's hope that it's refreshed. Are we back? Yeah, cool. Sorry about that, guys. I think it just froze for a sec. Shane says, need to not bomb long into the forward 50. Haynes will do what Stewart did. That's a great point. Haynes he's been in great form. It's a matter of us just lowering the eyes. We need to play smart. We need to not play dumb football. Last week we cost ourselves. We only lost by 15 points, but for the chunk of that game, we bombed it in. We played ugly football. We didn't lower the eyes. We didn't honour leads. Our forwards need to dictate what our mids do. They need to say, put it in front of me. They need to lead, create movement. Don't just stand still, because if the forwards stand still, the mids have no choice but to bomb it, you know? So this is the chance for our forwards to really grow some balls and say, nah, put it in front of me. And if they don't, fucking yell at them. Tell them to. You know, this is going to... Every mistake tomorrow is a mistake that might cost us our season. Might cost us a top 8 chance. So there's no time for, bad luck, high fives, you know, these sort of things. You know, it needs to be, boys, I expect the best from you, from each other. You know, they all need to say, do this, do that. They need to man up. They're all captains tomorrow night in my eyes. Every player is the captain. They have to take that sort of leadership on board. Kate, hey mate, why aren't the Saints any good? We'll see tomorrow night, mate. If we don't win tomorrow night, I'll agree with you. If we do, I'll say, well, you know, get fucked. Max King needs to stand up, lead and take marks. That's from Shane. I agree, this is a big game for Max King. He's had a few down weeks. A few people have been on his back a bit too much, I think. But I'm backing him to have a big game tomorrow night. But it's all about our delivery. It's all about whether he clunks them. He hasn't clunked them for a while. I'm tipping him to have a big one tomorrow night. I think he's a sort of player that he's probably going to go quiet in the not so big games, but in the important critical games, I can see him standing up. You know, if we make finals, you know, King's the sort of player that looks like he would thrive on that stage. Goosebumps whenever Rat speaks. That's from Catherine. Yeah, I know. He's a great speaker, isn't he? He just pulls at the heartstrings. He knows how to get emotional, but not too emotional. He knows how to still have that firmness in his voice to really kind of send that message across to the players. Play smart football, Saints, and you'll win. That's from Joe. Kerry says, if we can get the ball to ground, we will win. Kick to Lees instead of bombing it in down the wing. Great point, Kerry. Bradley says, hopefully show Kelly and Williams why they should jump ship to our club. Great point. I'd love one of them next season. You know, I can't see GWS keeping all their stars with the salary cap issues. I'd love to get Kelly. I think he'd be a gun. And also Zach Williams for more you know, classy pace-off halfback. That would be special for us as well. And he can go into the midfield and do a job there. Who do you think will be playing week 1 of the finals if we make it? That's from Henry. So I think from what I've looked at, if we lose and make finals, we potentially finish 8th. West Coast win tonight, and they probably will against North. They finish 5th. That means that first week we play in Perth, we play West Coast. Could potentially be a bad matchup for us. We never play well in Perth against West Coast. They'll have some of their players back. Shit sandwich for us there. So that's a bad scenario. If we win, we can finish as high as 6th. Maybe, yeah, probably the highest would be 6th, with West Coast taking 5th tonight. And we probably play Collingwood or the Bulldogs, which to me, and that'd be in Queensland, that to me is a much better matchup. Both winnable games. We've already beaten the Dogs this season. Collingwood, I'd love to play again. I think we got them when they were playing amazing football earlier in the season. I'd love to get them again and see what we can do against them. With more experience under our belts. And in a final, anything can happen. So that's my ideal scenario, is to play Collingwood or the Dogs. But if I had to pick, I'd probably pick the Dogs. Yeah, I'd love to play the Dogs again. We always seem to match up well against them, and we beat them pretty comfortably earlier in the season. We need Butler to play his best. Yep, good point there from Shane and from Stu. He is equal top of the small forwards goal kicking. So he'd be on the edge of All-Australian, but he's had a few down weeks. I think it's really important for him to have, and it's important for all of our big players to have a big game before finals, because you don't want to go into a final, if you win anyway, on a personal level, you don't want to go into a final in shit form. You want to play well. You want to go in there full of momentum. So that's important for Butler. It's important for Steele. It's important for Billings. You know, players like Billings to stand up. This is huge for them. And he's had some big games in big moments, or big moments in big games, sorry. So hopefully this is another one of those games where he just stands up and kicks 2 and has 25, you know, because Steele's going to struggle. De Boer's probably going to go and tag him. No Jones to balance that sort of responsibility. So it's up to Brad Hill, Hanbury, Billings, these sort of blokes to go into the middle and take the pressure off Jack Steele, because he can't do it on his own every week. It's impossible for him. We can't expect that from him. He's a star, yes. He's had a great season, but we can't expect him to win the game off his own boot. He's not that sort of player. He needs support, and it just means, yeah, like I said, if we're the better team tomorrow night, we win the game. Simple as that. We need to individually do our jobs, and collectively that means that we're probably going to win the game. So, you know, I'll leave it there, guys. I can go on all day about this, all night about this, but shit, it's a massive game. I don't want to come in to this review tomorrow night talking about a loss. I'll probably have down about 10 bottles of wine and be really upset about it. But yeah, I'm confident, but I just hate that we're in this position. But I hope that the players thrive. You know, I hate it and love it at the same time, because, you know, if we had have already qualified for finals, maybe we go into this game, you know, kind of complacent and cough up a loss and go into finals off the back of a loss. I'd love that. We've got no choice but to go for it. You know, there's literally no room for error here, or at least there is. There's room for error, but room to make up for it as well. We just need to keep fighting until the final siren, and it's a cliche, but it really matters. We can't stop until the fat lady sings, until the final siren goes, and until we get the fucking 4 points and we play finals for the first time since 2011. So I'm going to leave it there, guys. Thanks again for watching. Quick shout out to the Saints TV podcast. The episode's already live. We did it early this week for you guys, and hopefully if there's a good result, we'll do another early one on the weekend as well. So stay tuned. It's already had over 1,000 listens this week, so amazing support. I can't get over the support that you guys bring this page. It just makes me so happy every day. So thanks for that. And also, as you already know, maybe you don't know, the Saints TV store is live. The link is in the Facebook page. It's pinned to the top. If you're interested in merch like this, the Gresh Prince, Dan Butler, King Max, that sort of stuff. Jack Steele is on the way, so special mention there. The Jack Steele design I've seen it today, and it is very awesome. So hopefully next week we can show you that. And already we've had a lot of orders and a lot of sales. So thanks so much to everyone. And if you get the merch and you get it delivered, or you buy it today, you probably get it before our first final. You get to wear it for a final. So, that's just awesome that people are buying it. I can't believe it, you know. So just thanks for that. And yeah, that's it from me, guys. Thanks again for watching. And you'll see me tomorrow night, hopefully, when I'm not ranting and we're celebrating with some champagne, some balloons, and some just fucking Saints cheer and talking about finals. But until then, guys, take care of yourselves. Enjoy your Thursday nights, and go you Saints.